to invite you on a journey. Our minds are going to melt together. We're going to merge. We're going to synchronize and become one. Now, because we are one, we probably will have to use the bathroom together, but that's just part of it. Don't worry. It comes with the whole thing of enlightenment and everything. So don't even worry about it. This episode is going to be amazing in all ways. So you tuned into a good episode. This is a solo episode. Welcome. Solos are the best ones because it's me. It's just me, which means it's the best by default. This is Raise This Place podcast, and nothing else matters other than raising this place. So what are we going to get into in this Raise This Place podcast? Well, as a marketer, I was thinking, we market, we do all this A/B testing, we figure things out like, oh, maybe this button should be a different color. Maybe I should use this word or this word. And we get so caught up in the A/B testing, and we somehow, some reason, limit ourselves to just ads and just websites and just all this other stuff. And for some reason, marketers don't A/B test governmental policies and judicial reform and all this stuff. I don't get it. Why do marketers, maybe it'll come to me eventually. But what I'm here today to say is, so I've got to confess, this is quite embarrassing, but I think my embarrassment is eased because everyone goes through this. So I realized lately, it was about a week ago, I made tea and I put some honey in it and I drank it. Crazy, crazy stuff in this podcast, I'm telling you. But here, what happened after will shock you. I drank the tea and I felt good for the rest of the day. It was amazing. Just normal tea. Felt amazing. I was productive. I was doing things. I was mentally well. And I haven't drank the tea since. Just like a nice English tea in the morning. I haven't drank the tea since. And I don't know why. It seems that, if I found a result, that I would continue it and I would do it over and over because it works. But I feel like I fall into the same trap that everybody else falls into, where we do things and we know what actually is the right thing to do, what's the best thing to do, and we don't do it. Like going to the gym. Everybody knows that going to the gym is important. Going to the gym actually is quite difficult for a lot of people. It's not difficult for me because I like going to the gym and I've been building it for years. And when I'm not going to the gym, I feel a lack of goodness in my energy, in my body. I feel worse when I don't go to the gym. And that feeling of feeling worse is not a good feeling because you want to feel good throughout the day. But how come if I know that and I've applied that to the gym, then how come with the tea I didn't implement that? Because that gives me just as much happiness and just as much fulfillment in my day and productivity in my day as going to the gym. And it's a simple act. If we're doing these experiments, these tests, you could say A/B tests, like one day you wake up and you put your slippers on and you go out and read the morning paper. No one's done that in probably a decade, but let's just say you did it, on a whim. And you found that you felt like a superhero the rest of the day, and you were more productive and more amazing at everything than, say, you woke up and you browsed your phone first thing in the morning, and you felt like crap the whole day. You were tired, and you were thinking about, wars and stuff, so you didn't have a good day. That is an A/B test, and it shows, boom, you did this, it worked better than when you did this. But then we do the one that doesn't work. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I think at its core, it's a lack of appreciation for yourself. And I think that it's also a comfort level with routines, a level of comfort where we don't want to change. And we need to feel comfortable with change. We need to actually do things and make changes. Like, honestly, if we set a goal out, every quarter, every month we make a big change, then we will get used to change and start implementing changes much easier. I think change is the most important thing. If you get comfortable with change and you understand that change is the most important thing when it comes to accepting things and being able to move forward, and adapting to change too as well. If you have a change in life and it really throws you off for like a week or two, that's a week or two that you could be putting towards something else. Now, what happens when we take those same principles, or I guess let's just solve that issue first. Let's just say, what are some ways that we can solve that issue? The pain of doing the wrong thing is definitely not fun. It's not good to have. I would say that if you are following your intuition, set up the day where you're able to listen to your intuition, and then you'll have a good day. So wake up and find one thing that will help you organize your day and live your day where you're following your intuition, or following, you're in a good flowy mind state, you're clear-minded, you're able to think clearly, and you're not drained or anything. Basically, get good sleep, wake up, and have like a morning routine that gets you ready for the day. Some people will say like write 3 grateful things or make an intention for the day. You don't need to do any of that. Just find the one thing that gives you the best energy for your day and do that, and everything else will follow, right? Because if I wake up in the morning and drink tea, that will make me want to meditate. And if I meditate, that will make me, understand that I need to go to the gym because I care about my body and health. And once I go to the gym, I'll realize, okay, I already did something hard. Let's tackle that project that I was working on. And this is kind of the cascade that you want to foster, you want to grow. Like, flow state can only open up and appear if you allow your own flow through the day. So if you have one thing in the morning that sets you up good for the rest of the day, then just follow your intuition, follow your flow, and then you will eventually come into a natural flow state. I don't have it all figured out. All right, that's just what I'm just thinking through it. So test it. This is what it's about. Test it, see what works for you. Try something this day, try something the other day. So perfect. Society. So I said like marketers stop A/B testing at society. They just do ads and other stuff that they test. It was kind of a joke, but it's probably not a marketer's job to test if we should have, not to bring up a touchy subject, but we should have guns over here and then no guns over there. That's not something that I would get into specifically, but as an example, if we have, we kind of do that with states, right? But I feel like we could do it in a more efficient way, a better way, and a way that opens up more things. Like the example that I was thinking about was education. What if we tried a different baseline of education in one place, see if that worked, did a different kind of education in another place, check the results, and then if the one that works best, is easy to implement, then we'll expand and implement it in more places, make more iterations on it, and expand it. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be some way to fast track societal progress in terms of the things that we've been failing on. Like, our biggest issues in society are education and health / like mental health. health in general, wellness in general. So education, like learning, real learning, not just only intelligence, not just only knowledge, but wisdom, which is intelligence and knowledge, application of that intelligence and knowledge in ways that move us forward in a positive way. So that'd be like a education program that works with your type of learning individually. There's a bunch of stuff. Who's that? I think it's Alpha One or Alpha Center. It's a new education system kind of thing developed by someone. I'll probably leave a link below or something to check them out. It's like a private school, like probably pretty expensive, but they use AI. They use specific people or specific, like kids can go into their own booths, learn the way that they learn and figure things out. It's a better way to do education, period. I mean, it's a low bar, but it's a better way to do education. So what if we just, instead of only having that industrialized, why don't we put that into the government of A/B testing and taking what private companies are doing and working that into the system, right? I don't know. I'm not a politician, but I think that would be pretty cool. So my main point here is, what if you could A/B test your life? And what if you could A/B test society? Imagine a world where we tested an education system over here and an education system over here. One performed better. We take that, multiply it, iterate, A/B test that version, and continue. And then we have a better education system, fast-tracked for everyone. What if we did what marketers do with ads and marketers do with web pages and did that with everything? Isn't that optimization? Isn't that what we're looking for in terms of societal progress? I think that we should. And in order to make that happen, we need it on the ground level. So I encourage everyone to get out there and start something and work with your local government, work with your local people, work with your network, find better ways to do things, and just try to expand it, because there's a way to make positive things give you money, right? It seems like a lot of times people are like, oh, nonprofits, they're doing good work, but they don't make you a billionaire. AI is helping with education and building knowledge of people. And that's made a lot of people billionaires. So there's always a way to do it. There's always a middle way, and there's always a way to improve society and make it cost effective and make it highly profitable. You don't have to be greedy. This goes with your marketing. This goes with your business. You don't have to have greedy practices. You don't have to have sketchy ways to get to the top. People will say that you have, to get to the extreme level, you have to kind of cheat your way up there. That is true in the sense of you kind of have to cheat your way up there, but it doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be like throwing people under the bus. It doesn't have to be doing the wrong thing. You can make your way up there to the highest levels doing the right thing, but the right thing as in creative perspective. So it's about creative perspective. Again, understanding how to get there. And this isn't about the greater good, or like, this isn't about weighing, oh, if we do one thing and then that hurts like a bunch of other people here, but in the end it'll help everyone else. That's the bane of existence. That's the worst thing you can do. The best thing to do in that situation is to limit the damage on one side. Remember, there's always a middle way. Limit the damage on one side and find a way to make it happen without hurting a bunch of people. And I feel like that's a problem that major governments have, is they always say like, oh, this is fine to do because it's for the greater good. And yes, it will hurt a lot of people. The same thing with big businesses. Like, this will make us a lot of profits, but it might hurt people, whatever. It's a lot of profits, and that can be justified in a way that is good, I think. I don't know. But again, it's about the single most important thing, which is finding the roots of the problem, testing different ways to solve the issues that come from those roots of the problems, and then making progress on them. Because if we make progress in places like education or in mental health, that means that we'll have better progress in the future because people will be smarter and capable to do things. But right now, where we have an obese population of over like 50, I think it's like 60% or 70% are obese, and 60-70% of people are taking medications or suffer from like some form of mental illness or mental health issue, or say that they don't feel happy in life, and then tie that in with brain rot and everything else. I mean, yeah, we're in a sticky situation, but there's a way out of it if we just realize that we can solve the roots of the issues, and we know the roots of the problem, and we know how to solve them. But the issue is we get caught up in all these things that do not matter whatsoever. Like, honestly, politicians will say all these different things and get you riled up for things that in the end really don't matter as much. Like, sure, they could be issues that do matter, but we need to actually focus on what will move us forward, because what I see is a lot of surface level problem solving, which just makes the problem harder to fix. So we talked a bit about education. I was thinking about something. Jim Quick wrote a book called Limitless, and it's a fantastic book. It's moved me since I read it. And it's basically about visual learning. So this is the top method that the best memory champions use to memorize an entire stack of cards or memorize anything from like 20 digits. And I think there's been like 50 digits, probably more. It's crazy what you can do with your memory. And it's also crazy that we've been doing memory wrong this whole time. So here's how you improve your memory 5 to 10 times, even more. This is what you do. Jim Quick calls this the memory palace method. It basically goes like this. Pick a scene. You can visualize it, or it could be a physical scene if you're going to stay there, and place what you need to memorize on different aspects of that scene. So you could be in a museum, put the things you want to memorize on different parts of the museum. Or for instance, if I want to remember some numbers, I'll put numbers in the area, in the location of the place that I know I'm going to be, and I'll just snap back to that area and remember the numbers immediately. It's much easier than repeating it in your head and this and that. Of course, you repeat it a little bit, you can use all those different techniques, but it goes to show we have a lot of optimizing to do with our own minds and our routines and society. As a quick reminder, if you're enjoying this podcast so far, subscribe to Raise This Place. It's the best podcast in the world. So why do memory champions never forget? It's not IQ, it's imagery. I would say that the most creative people and the most forward-moving doers and movers in the world think with 10 perspectives, right? They're not just looking at something with one perspective. They're looking at something with all different perspectives and trying to figure out the exact, trying to figure out almost what's real. Like if you look at this water bottle, for instance, I can look at this water bottle, but I'm only seeing it right here. Actually, I'm quite thirsty. I'm going to and now I see from the top, and I also see that there's an inside. See that it's a water bottle. And I remember that it's my water bottle, and I can kind of understand from other water bottles that I've seen in my life that is also a water bottle, and that happens to have really good capabilities for keeping things cold and keeping things warm. This is not a Yeti ad, but this is an ad for you to actually boost your creativity and figure out how to see things with multiple perspectives at one time. Here's the practice. Take your identity as a human being, what you know yourself as, and look at something with that identity. Now take that and switch it, shift it a little bit in whatever way feels right to you, and then look at that same thing. Do you view it differently? Then take that identity, push it away, go back into your consciousness a little bit, then view the thing from more of a bird's eye view perspective. Chances are you see it multiple different ways and it feels different every time. Now there's also an intellectual aspect to it. You're not just seeing it differently, but you're also feeling it differently and understanding its path in your life from your perspective. Understand that object that you're viewing from multiple perspectives that aren't just yours. If you observe something, you're not only observing it from your lens of everything you've gone through in your entire life, you're also observing it from a perspective of how that acts through your time that you're observing it and what you perceive it to do or be in the future and what you perceive it to do or have done in the past. So here's a super simple explanation. If I observe a burger, I know that in the past that burger has made me feel good. So I like that burger. It's a good burger. I eat it every time. Makes my mouth water. So I get it. And I know that I'm going to have that reaction again. And that goes into dopamine. Yes, you have that aspect of wanting and craving. That is something that you have to recognize and understand, like, okay, I understand there's that craving aspect, but also what are the colors doing to me? When I see this burger, I see the colors of the bread, of the meat, of the lettuce, and that also triggers the same thing. So if I see other logos, and this can tie into advertising as well, like you see, I'm not a fan of Burger King, but for example, you see the Burger King logo and the colors, you don't even have to see the logo. You see the colors and you have that taste in your mouth. Seeing things clearly is understanding your brain's processes on how you may perceive it with your brain and then trying to perceive it without all those extra added elements. And all those elements are from your experiences and how your brain is formed and what you understand and what you've learned through life. So perceiving things without that is a practice, but it's definitely possible. You can just look at an object, and the best practice is not only looking at the object, but looking at how your brain reacts to that object. We have to understand that perspective isn't a soft skill. It's the root of innovation. And if we understand that perspective is the most important when it comes to creation, creative endeavors, and finding new takes and new ways to adapt and innovate, we understand that it's a lot more. Also, it prevents you from falling into traps too, which is another fantastic thing that building your perspective helps with. So we can also see this as raising your conscious. So people will say like, oh, raise your conscious. That's kind of building your perspective. Little different inclinations, but it's pretty much the same thing. So next time you see something and you feel an automatic response, try to see that automatic response to the thing that you're responding to. So what we understand about I guess this is going to be like an education podcast because we're really getting into education and learning and perspective. So another cool thing about perspective, I call this real learning. Real learning is realizations. Real, I don't know what zation is, but you're like seeing things with your eye and you're seeing it for what it is, realizations. So it's not just observing something and trying to shove it in your memory, good realizations almost feel like you're remembering something, right? So think about that. If you're realizing something, it almost feels like a memory, that you're not learning something new, you are remembering a perspective of something. And that's because it's seeing it more clearly, so it feels more natural to your true self. Therefore, it becomes more integrated into yourself versus just something that you have been picking up along the way or shoved in your memory for, like a phone number or something like that. And that's what forms your personality. So if you foster those realizations, you can form your personality, you can form what you're into, and from forming what you're into and your perspectives on things and all this worldview, all that, you can find hobbies, you can find passion, you can find direction. Because a lot of people lack passion, they lack direction, they don't know what they want to do with life. This is exactly how you figure out what to do with your life and how to grow you as a deeper person and build your passions, form your perspectives, and just build you as a substantial person, and giving yourself substance with these kind of realizations. So what you do is learn things, observe things, and see them all from different perspectives and tie those into your worldview, and then look at your worldview and tie that worldview into other worldviews. So it's really the art of going inwards. And this is like important stuff. I hope I'm conveying this properly. I'm still new to the podcast game, but I'm really trying my best to convey these points. They're difficult to understand, but again, I like to throw in tidbits or go back to like what I'm talking about, like the basics or like the general thing that I'm talking about. So hopefully it helps when I throw these in. For this, it would be like just build self-awareness. Keep building self-awareness over and over again. Like make it a daily, hourly, minutely practice. That's what I would say the key takeaway is. And that's why some lessons become integrated and others just kind of wash away. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I just wanted to stop by. It's a solo episode, so just wanted to drop some ideas that have been flowing through my brain recently, and then get them out there. That's kind of why I made this podcast, honestly, to just have a thought dump. So I'm dumping on all of you that are listening, and I hope you enjoy my dumps, and I hope you have your ears and eyes open to receive my dumps. Moving on, I want you to know that I'm continuously working on getting more people on. If you have something or have a suggestion or a referral for this podcast, you can message media@hudafilm.com or rtp.media@proton.me. And that's a direct line to put out your suggestions for the Raise This Place podcast and any other inquiries that you may have. So as always, if you like this podcast, subscribe, share, and leave a rating. Ratings help so much. So if you're on Spotify, or if you have Spotify, just look up Raise This Place, click the stars, and click the 5 stars. So the next episode is going to be fantastic. I think we're going to be talking about it'll be a guest. We're going to be talking about some like reform, some cool society stuff with someone that's doing the active work. So stay tuned for that, episode 6. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. As always, stay tuned for the next one. Peace.